You ever feel like you're just grinding through life? Pushing through workouts, jobs, even relationships with this grim determination? Well, let's dive into that, because today we're going to talk about a really powerful shift in how we see things, moving from just enduring life's challenges to actually, and I mean joyfully, engaging with them. This simple quote from physical therapist Gray Cook, it's the whole key. And believe me, this isn't just about exercise. Think about your career for a second. Are you dragging yourself to a job you can't stand, or are you doing work that really lights you up? This idea applies absolutely everywhere. The question isn't if you're going to move through life, you have to. The real question is how. Is it going to be a forced march, or is it going to be a meaningful practice? All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to diagnose a problem I think we all feel sometimes: the tyranny of endurance. Then we'll get into a three-part solution: finding your natural movement, using the Stoic circle of control, and adopting a really powerful new mindset. And finally, we'll talk about how you can get started, like today.
Okay, let's talk about this trap. It's this feeling that life is some kind of endurance test, right? Where we just white-knuckle our way through things we don't like, telling ourselves that all this suffering somehow proves our worth. But you know what? That mindset isn't just exhausting, it leads straight to burnout and feeling totally disconnected from who we really are.
So let's really break down these two opposing mindsets. On one side, you've got endurance. It's all about grinding, forcing, punishing yourself by trying to fix all your weaknesses. And then on the other side, there's enjoyment, practicing, getting into a flow state, using what you're naturally good at, and the movement itself becomes the reward. The endurance mentality is such a trap because it makes us think that suffering is somehow a good thing.
And this isn't some new problem we just invented. The brilliant philosopher Francis Bacon said this at the end of his life. He felt like he'd completely wasted his potential on politics and jobs he just wasn't cut out for. He endured his ambition instead of enjoying his genius, and it ended in total disgrace for taking bribes. His soul literally became a stranger to him.
And even one of the great Stoics, Seneca, fell into this exact same trap. He chose to serve the monstrous Emperor Nero. Now, yeah, he might have been a good influence for a while, but he also got incredibly rich by compromising his own philosophical beliefs. He endured his closeness to power, and in doing that, he became a stranger to the very philosophy he was famous for preaching. It's just a powerful reminder that even the wisest people can lose their way when they choose endurance over their true self.
So how in the world do we escape this tyranny? Well, our first solution comes from the author Robert Greene, and honestly, it's pretty counterintuitive. It's all about finding the path of least resistance, which, and this is the paradox, becomes your path of greatest power.
So here's Greene's method. First, and this is going to sound radical, ignore your weaknesses. Seriously, stop trying to be someone you're not. Instead, focus on the small, simple things you have a natural talent for. Maybe you're a great listener, or you just have a knack for organizing stuff. Concentrate on getting really good at those things. That's how you build real confidence, a solid foundation you can then expand from.
Think of a lotus flower. It doesn't struggle or force its way open. It just unfolds naturally, petal by petal, from its strong-rooted core. When you focus on what you're already good at, your work stops feeling like punishment, and it starts to feel like practice. The growth itself becomes something you actually enjoy.
Okay, the second key to making this shift comes straight from the Stoics. It's all about understanding what you can control and, just as importantly, what you can't. And this isn't about limiting yourself. It's about freeing yourself up to focus your energy where it's actually going to make a difference.
Here's the crucial insight right here. The Stoics argued that there's only one thing that is 100% in our control: our mind, our reasoned choices, how we respond to things. Everything else, what other people think, world events, even our own health, is ultimately outside of our direct control. The moment you accept that, you stop wasting energy fighting reality, and you're free to master the one thing you truly own.
I mean, just look at the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. His reign was a complete nightmare. He inherited an empire dealing with floods and wars, then a horrible plague swept through, and he even had to bury several of his own children. But he didn't just grimly endure it all. He chose to engage with these trials, using his philosophy to guide his choices and to focus on his response, the one thing he could actually control.
This ability to engage, not just endure, it's powered by a critical shift in your mindset. It's what allowed someone like Marcus Aurelius to use the circle of control not as a defensive shield, but as an offensive tool. It's about completely reframing what adversity even is.
This is the phrase the Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught his students to say whenever they faced a challenge.
And it's not a statement of dread, like, oh no, here we go. It's a statement of readiness. It transforms a tough moment from something you have to endure into an opportunity to practice your philosophy, to engage with life on your own terms.
So how do we actually put all of this into practice? Well, the answer is beautifully simple. You just begin. You don't start with some grand 5-year plan. You start with a single, small movement that feels natural to you today.
Here are a few simple but really powerful rules of thumb to get you started. Michael Pollan's advice about food is a great metaphor for life. Just stick to the real, authentic stuff. Don't chase after ambitions that feel foreign to your soul. And maybe most importantly, don't let doubt, whether it's from others or from yourself, stop you from taking that first step. So this all brings us right back to the ultimate point. Every single day, every moment, we're faced with a choice. And it's the core question of this entire explainer. Are you going to keep forcing yourself through movements that just feel wrong? Or are you going to choose to enjoy the process of growing from your natural center?
I absolutely love this idea because it's so empowering. To keep grinding, to keep choosing endurance when you know there's another way, that's not a mistake anymore. It's a choice. And the best part is, you can make a different choice in the very next moment.
So I'll leave you with this question. It doesn't have to be some huge, life-altering decision. It could be a skill you want to practice, a conversation you need to have, or just how you decide to meet the very next challenge that comes your way. What is one small movement, one that is truly yours, that you will choose to enjoy, not just endure, today?